I wanted to talk to you today because you're probably totally shocked by something you recently read or saw online that has to do with my life. I wanted you to hear directly from the source, and I wanted you to know exactly where I am and understand how my past, let's say the last year, has gone for me. I wanted you to hear directly from me because I hate when you hear something and you go, oh my gosh, and then you are so concerned and don't know how people are doing when they go through a situation. And honestly, the reason I felt like I needed to record this too is so I can help somebody out there. The biggest thing I want you to know, if you don't hear anything else from this video, is I want you to realize that God can work absolute miracles and bless abundantly during trials. During some of the worst circumstances you could ever feel in your life, God is there, God is in the midst, and He knows what He's doing ahead of time. Some points that I want to talk to you about are how much God cares about you. I want to talk to you about how much He wants you not to take on judgments of other people and not to assume that you know what's going on in their lives. One thing I want to talk to you about is how your heart can be changed in such a way that you can learn to forgive in a matter of seconds, minutes, days. I mean, it doesn't even have to take that long. It's amazing. If you let God work in your life, then it's amazing what He can do. And then, of course, I want to talk to you about giving God all the credit. So that's the biggest takeaway, I think, for you, is that He can work in trials and He can bless you, and He just wants to get the credit for it. So that's one reason I'm recording this video, is to give Him credit, because you have to know what has gone on in my life over the last year. It's just been crazy. Let me start first of all with how much God cares for us. He cares for all of us the exact same. He is not a respecter of persons. What that means in layman's terms is He doesn't view me any better than He views you, any better than He views your neighbor. He loves you just as much as He loves me. We just have to be open to hearing what He wants for our lives and hearing how He wants to mold us and shape us and build our character. And honestly, He has led me to so many things over the past year. It's been an amazing ride. He has led me to a businesswoman who does marketing, and I have learned how to market my businesses through her. And then through her, she has led me to her mentor, who is one of the most wise women of God that I think I have ever met. And I've never even met her in person, but I have a lot of her books and a lot of her training series, and she speaks into my life every time I plug something of hers in. So actually, you know what? I'll go ahead and give you her name. Her name is Danny Johnson, and she was on ABC's, the ABC show, that's Secret Millionaire. She was actually the very premiere episode. So if you go back and watch that somehow, you need to watch it. It's phenomenal. But she went from homeless to millionaire in 2 years at the age of 23, and she's a multimillionaire today, and she gives up her free time to train people, and it's just amazing. She's an amazing person, very biblically grounded, and all of her principles are Bible-based. Anyway, so God has given me plenty of opportunities through those two people, along with almost every other training I've done over the last year, of working on me and working in my heart. And He has been preparing me and changing me. I thought it was for better communication in my marriage. I thought it was for molding and shaping me and grooming me and making changes in me, so I could therefore make changes in our marriage and just have a more cohesive way of working about our communication and understanding each other. And Arjuna and I have very different personality types, very different backgrounds growing up, and I thought that's where this was all headed, is just figuring out how to work together better. Now on this side of things, I realized that preparation that God was doing in my life was to not have judgments, to not have a critical spirit, to not jump down anybody's case, to actually operate in forgiveness instead of anger or resentment or bitterness, or, I mean, you throw it out there. Anytime somebody goes through a tearing apart of a family, it can be an absolutely horrendous thing. Because God did what He did in my heart and in my life prior to this, I can honestly tell you I have reacted differently than I ever thought I would. Or than I could have even imagined the way this would have gone down. He's just amazing. The second point I want to make is that it takes two people in a relationship to make it work. It just does. And one thing that I have learned is not to make judgments. And I cannot assume that I know anything that's happened in a relationship where somebody has gotten divorced or separated. I mean, whatever it is, it takes two people. So my encouragement to you is don't judge people. Don't judge people who decide to have green hair. Don't judge people who wear it in a mohawk. Don't judge people who decide not to have kids. Don't judge people who decide to be an author when you think they should be a speaker. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what goes on in their lives. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what is going on in here. You don't know their background. You don't know the environment around them and their relationships with people that have molded and shaped them to be who they are today, and what causes this to make the decisions that they make. That being said, it's just been amazing to me. My next point is how quickly I've been able to forgive and move forward. It's really been interesting because God has done such a work in me that my family will look and go, you know, you really could have let this stomp you into the ground and wallow in it and have all this self-pity and a pity party, but instead you're choosing to do the exact opposite. You're using it to launch you forward into what God has for you and to build your life and to just step it up another notch. And I can only fully give God the credit. He's the one that did that in me. He's the one that worked it out in me months prior to all of this. And I thank Him daily, multiple times a day, for giving me the chance and the opportunity to make that shift and to work on my heart and to build my character so that I can be where I am today and not have the baggage that could so easily come along with the tearing apart of a relationship. That's the foundation. What's so cool that I want to tell people is what He has done out of this. Our Gene left in July. The divorce is officially final, but even prior to it being final, Christmas rolled around. I have to tell you how cool God is and how He blesses His children. And when you are so focused on living your life for Him and doing what you need to do to get right, I mean, we all sin, we all fall short. It's the repentant heart that He looks at, and the obedient heart, and the one that's willing to praise Him in the good times and in the bad times, and the one who gives Him credit for what He does in our lives. I mean, you're breathing in and out. That's enough to give Him credit. But I have to tell you what He's done. Leading up to Christmas, we decided to put our story of, we're actually, I don't know if you know this, but we have been living for a couple years now in part of the finished off basement of my parents' house. It's just, when we moved from Mississippi, we just felt like it was the right thing to do, and for us, for them. So, number one, I couldn't have been in a better place to have my husband not here anymore. I am being taken care of. Bills are being met. God is providing where bills are being met. It's just been amazing. And of course, He knew it going into it. He lined it all up. So that's just great. We are only in one phase. We call it phase 1, and there's a phase 2 and a phase 3 of the basement that's not finished off yet. Phase 2 and phase 3 are not finished off yet. I only have a kitchen in phase 2. We decided, actually, my mom and I worked together, and we decided to put our story of the basement onto a local Christian radio station that was doing Christmas wishes during the Christmas season. And all we did was just put it up there and say, look, if anybody can help, this is the situation. We could use some materials. It's just finances are tight right now. We really need bedrooms for the kids, more space. I mean, they have a place to sleep, but they need their official bedrooms, and we need an actual living room. Right now, my office and living room and part of the kids' bedroom and everything's all kind of in one room. There's a separate bedroom that the twins sleep in with me, and we have a bathroom. So, I mean, space is tight. So we're trying to finish off the other area. So we just post this on the radio station website and hear absolutely nothing. Probably a week and a half before Christmas, my mom decides to go for a walk, and she meets this nice family in a neighborhood down the street, and they find out that they have the dogs that have the same name, and just kind of hit it off. And my mom comes home and says, oh, I met this nice couple and their family, and that was about the extent of the conversation. So just days, so a week later, days before Christmas, my mom gets this phone call and says, I think you know me. And my mom's like, okay. And she said, weren't you the lady that was out walking your dog? And we have the same dogs named Holly. And my mom's like, yeah, I remember that. She said, well, we just found your story in the Christmas Wishes book, and we would absolutely love to help. They have connections to commercial builders. They are going to be able to provide all the materials for us. It's such a blessing, and wouldn't you know, it is just like God to line up my mom meeting those people a week before they see our story, so they feel like they have a personal connection to us already. It's just like Him to do that. With God, there are no coincidences. He definitely lined that up, and it's just been a blessing. They're working on putting our whole floor plan into their CAD program, and it's just been one blessing after another after another. So then on top of that, God didn't think that was enough. A couple of weeks ago, gosh, it's probably been 2 weeks ago now, someone at the kids' school came up to me and said, how would you feel if a handicap accessible van happened to come into your possession? And my response was, I would do the happy dance. So she said, well, I have a friend who unfortunately lost her mother first, and then she lost her stepfather, and her stepfather was a double amputee and had to be in a power chair that was in the passenger side of the van. And so her mom would drive and he would be in the passenger side. And she said, would you be interested in something like that? I said, shoot, yeah. We have been looking for years. We've been trying to figure out how to convert our van, which we found out we can't, to have a lift on the back. So it's really been just in God's hands. So all of this transpires, and then within a week, and I mean less than a week, just days after hearing this van's available, the lady who owned the van calls and says, okay, we want to bring it by your house on Sunday. We met with them. We have the van. I mean, that's it. Done. So God blessed us, and He didn't just bless us with a van. He blessed us with a Chrysler Town & Country, top of the line, like wood grain, leather, as nice as it comes. So, and it was just awesome. And we were standing there talking. They had signed over the title, and we're standing there talking, and the lady happens to mention that she substitutes every once in a while at the kids' school. And I said, well, no, actually it was my dad. My dad was standing there, and he was talking about the kids, and he mentioned Faith, my daughter. And all of a sudden this lady turns around and she goes, oh my gosh, I know Faith. And it was so cool to see her light up and get so excited that she actually knew the child that this van was going to help, and she knew her situation. And she said, you know, I have been trying to give this van away. I have called charities. I've called them multiple times. They will not call me back. I have tried to find individual families. And she said, this just must be providential that you're supposed to have this van. And it is. It really is. God just blesses me, and He loves me, and He loves you just as much. And if you don't take anything else away from this, know that He loves you. Know that He wants your heart. He wants your obedience, and He just wants the credit. So that's what I'm here to tell you, is how much He has blessed me how much he is moving me forward, how much he cares about me, and how much he loves you too. And I hope you find him. I hope you find his character. I hope you realize how much he loves you. I couldn't do this on my own, and he has far exceeded my expectations. He has given me more than anyone. So, on that note, all is well. The kids are happy. Everyone's fine. I wanted you to hear from me directly. I wanted you to understand why you haven't seen any blog posts lately. Over the last 6 months, it's been very sparse. I'm jumping back in. Everything is fine. I just had to deal with personal stuff first. But know that I care for you. I am here for you. However I can support you in your life and in your health journey and getting your kids healthy, or anything else. I mean, if you want to know more about Dani Johnson and I can point you that way, then let me know, DaniJohnson.com. She's got a great book called Grooming the Next Generation for Success that I recommend every parent listens to. But that's all I have to share with you today, and I will see you soon on my blog. Enjoy your day.